The business of fashion, that's our special focus today, where we explore an industry that's become an integral part of our economy. Gugu Nkabinde is the founder of Gugu Intimates and co-owner of the Love Africa pop-up store in Rosebank. She joins me now in studio. Thanks so much for your time. Let's start with your label. What made you decide to start that, and how's that going?
So Gugu Intimates was a pure labor of love. I needed a bra that would not stand out so much when I wore a white top or anything slightly sheer. And it baffled me that in a continent with so many diverse skin tones, I couldn't find a nude underwear brand that reflected who I was. But also as a brand strategist, I started it because I felt the responsibilities that brands have to communicate a holistic story that reflects back a story of confidence and belief in oneself. So I just jumped at the opportunity to get on the dream job that I've kind of been waiting for.
So how do you then let people know about a product like that? Because you don't have the backing of a big retail chain, it's just your company.
Look, I've been blessed to have had the pleasure of timing. The perfect timing around the conversation around diversity helped propel my brand. So I can't take all the credit, but it was a brand whose time had come, where the question of why, if I can match my makeup, why can't I match my underwear? So the interest came a lot from answering to a real, genuine consumer need. And I think for me, it was more about standing my ground before going in, to a massive retailer to show the need for the brand that brought the product on board. So it's been going pretty well. The reception has been great, but mostly social media and people who share and talk about us have been a lot of the traction, and platforms like this as well.
So let's talk about your pop-up store in Rosebank. It's not just you, you're collaborating with other designers to showcase African brands and sell them.
Yes. So Gugu Intimates has been on a journey to figure out what the retail landscape will look like in this challenging environment. And when the opportunity to partner with Rosebank came again, the store was quite big. And I've always had the interesting idea of what if you could get dressed from head to toe in local designers that you don't normally find. And here they are on Instagram. So even more so grassroots. So I called up, you know, some brands that I admire and some women who are doing amazing things like Africa Your Time Is Now, Butter Pudding, Galago Online, etc. And we thought, let's create a brands stores within a store that people can come and find us, you know, at a lower, you know, at a pop-up kind of space and time. So that's worked out very well for us because we're able to share the overheads, we're able to share the networks. Our customers are able to learn that we exist by coming to look for Gugu Intimates and finding the brand that you hadn't heard about, for example, right next to it.
I know you've also got designers like Irene Makabu who make these beautiful tops and dresses. How do you all sit when you're having these discussions? How do you price your products? How do you decide this is what I'm going to cost that's going to be accessible?
Look, I will speak for the few that I've been privy of. We genuinely are interested in finding that bridge between, you know, being able to develop good quality products that will stand the test against other international brands. So that talks to materials, that talks to expertise, that talks to, you know, the craftsmanship that goes into our garments. And then looking at the pocket that we're trying to appeal to. I think we've had previous discussions about the affordability of Gugu Intimates, where it became a business decision to say rather access over margins. So we do look at both sides of, honestly, if you're going to make a good quality product, it's going to cost some money, but we also need to be able to stand hand on heart and build brands that consumers can also back. And we're finding that the platform is there. If the stories that back up why it costs what it does are there and available to the consumer, and let them connect and decide. So it's why Love by Africa for me was so important, is to be able to give those platforms for brands.
Can you tell from your store, both your store online and your physical store now, what the sense of the economy in South Africa is at the moment? Are consumers spending a little bit more, or are they just taking the basics, even if it's maybe not a bra and a panty, just a bra, or just the top, or buying up the store?
Look, I think it varies. It's very interesting to watch at most times. One thing I have figured out are the days of the month. So knowing that in the beginning of the month, we kind of use that time to manage inventory, you know, getting the store front updated, etc., because the traffic is less. We have seen the trend towards buying closer towards the end of the month. Payday shopping is still a real thing. But one of the things that we are finding is there are what is becoming coveted African fashion brands. So there are people who will go, I'll be back. And when they come back, they buy up, you know, as much of the store as possible, one of each of the brands that are in there. For example, your Irene can convert from her rail and she can customize your garment. So you get a lot of those people that go, I'll be back, and then they come back. So I think there's a lot more thought process with consumers now. They need to think about what they're buying, why it costs what it costs, but people are still shopping. We are still finding that there's a platform for us to be around.
Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Gugu Nkabinde, owner of Gugu Intimates, joining me in studio there. Nompumelelo, it's over to you.